Welcome to show 924, the 6th day of February. I'm Todd Cochran, your host. Strap in. Here it comes. This is the Geek News Central podcast, bringing the latest tech and science news, coming to you live from beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Save today at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Fans, strap yourself in for a great show. Geek News Central, the longest running tech podcast, is ready. It's showtime. Everyone, welcome to Geek News Central podcast. I am Todd Cochran, and I'm welcoming you to the show. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to cover a lot of topics in a hurry. I'm going to take a few minutes here and just give a warm welcome to the Ohana and all the longtime listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Of course, thanks for being subscribed. And, of course, if you're brand new to the show, I'm glad you're here to check out the podcast. We do this every Monday and Thursday night. It's, it's basically on like clockwork. Unless something crazy is happening, I'm doing the show. Yeah, can you believe it? 924 episodes in the can as the completion of this show tonight. But we want to make sure that you take time and get over to geeknewscentral.com to check out all the great content on the website. This is the place you go to really keep abreast of what's going on in the tech world. And we're a little bit behind in posting some content right now. We're going to be getting that up, starting a big push again this weekend. Things have been kind of crazy here. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But, of course, I want to encourage you all, if you've got comments on today's show, to drop me an email at geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at geeknews as well. So we want you to consider get signed up for our newsletter. Of course, subscribe to the podcast. You'll find that in the second column of the website. Definitely check that out. And of course, if you are on G+, you can go over our G+ page or on Facebook. Those links will be up in the show notes. Got some positive feedback on the show notes. People are pretty happy that they're back on the main page on the website. So that seems to have gone over well. So far, so good. No degradation, as we can tell from Google. Our plan is working so far, so we got our fingers crossed here that will continue. Hey, you can watch the show on a variety of set-top boxes: the Roku, the Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV, Chromecast. We're putting in some stuff for the API to get that all kind of squared away. But you can watch the show if you so desire on those devices. And, of course, we're live tonight up on YouTube, so we're up on YouTube as well at youtube.com. I believe /Geek News is the website for YouTube. Well, it's been kind of an interesting week here, and maybe I should wait. Maybe I should get into that in a few minutes, and let's just take care of the business first. Then I can kind of, I guess for a better word, be serious. Hey, I do want to thank all of you. We got our January results for everything that we did on GoDaddy for January. And even though the podcast was off for, like 12 days or so, man, you guys came through. You really, really did. It helped out in a big way. So for those of you that picked up website builders, the hosting accounts, regular hosting, I got it broke down. I could see what you guys bought. And you really took advantage of the codes that GoDaddy made available to us last month, and really, I'm pretty excited by the end result, and which encourages me that we could have a banner month again for February. So I want to make sure that you know where to go. Go over to geeknewscentral.com /GoDaddy, and all my codes that I have available for you are there. We've got 250% off codes. Ones and these come with domains as well. A website builder and standard hosting by using the promo code 50host7. 50 WSB7 is for a website builder. That was what you guys bought the most of last month. And, of course, we got the 32% off your order at GoDaddy by using the promo code GO32OFF1 right now. Now, what's going to happen is when you click on those codes on the website or you click on the banner on the website, it's going to drop you over to GoDaddy's website. And at the very top, it's actually going to tell you the offer that you have. So on this one here, I've got you clicked into the 32% offer. And on the other one, I got you clicked over to the 295.com. So this is important to know when you're getting ready to to pick up a product over there, that when you click on a link, if you don't see, and here's what's important for all of you to know, because it happened to some of you earlier this week when we had some of the other codes up, is that, for example, this $1.99 economy hosting for 12 months, basic $1.99 per month with a free domain. When I click on that host off 3, what should happen up there is there should be this orange banner at the very top of the website. And those of you that are listening, what will happen is on the top of the GoDaddy website, there'll be an orange banner that will tell you exactly what the discount is. It actually has a little drop down that tells you the offer limitations, so that there'll be no surprises later, so that you know exactly what you're getting when you get to the checkout counter. That's really, really important. So, as I said, GoDaddy's got a whole bunch of codes for us this month. Really some incredible deals, just as we had last month. The 250% off ones, the 32% off your order, the 295.com. We've got a whole bunch of stuff here that still is valid. And I actually found out about a couple of domains that were still good. I mean, a couple of codes that were still good. And let me see if I can bring up email real quick and look at the spreadsheet, because the spreadsheet is the telltale. And sometimes I say, oh, that code was supposed to have really went away a long time ago. And how come the email didn't load? Okay, Thunderbird's updating. Wouldn't you know it? Come on. We're wasting time. We got the show to do. So, all right. So let me scroll up here. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Nope. January invoice. Okay, there we go. So here's the deal. 2 codes. Come on, email. My God, load. Doesn't that drive you crazy? So here's some codes that aren't on the website right now. They're still good. Free 2, FREE2, and also COM, COM 99. So just be aware that there's still some codes out there that are good. So again, COM 99, and I'll let you guys think about what that will do for you, and the free 2. So just be aware of that. Everything else, I think, is on the, let me look here. Yep, those are all there. I think everything else is on the website. So just looking down the spreadsheet. But anyway, thank you, everyone, for your purchases over at GoDaddy this past month. It's greatly appreciated. You continue to support the show, and really it helps the show a lot. I mean, I'm just going to be straight up and tell you that. Okay, so anyway, let's move on here. And of course, again, all of Geek News Center runs on GoDaddy, all my domains, everything I've got over there. So I buy my products. They don't give them to me. And I hope that you'll do the same. All right, so I had this email come in yesterday. And it just had a link. And I was, a little bit hesitant to click on the link. I knew who the email came from. Knew the person was trusted. So I loaded the link. And sometimes you want to, how should I say this for a better word? Sometimes it's better not to know something. And so for like the past 24 hours, my brain has been like spooling big time. Because sometimes you find out about something and you want to talk about it, but you think, I better not. And, it's in the long term, I guess for a better reason, in the long term, it could help me. But in the short term, what I was told could hurt someone or something else. And I don't want to really be party to any, I don't want to get too, I got to be careful here because I don't want to say too much, and I'm really not saying a lot, right, as it is. But the main thing is sometimes you just don't, sometimes it's just better keep your damn mouth shut. and I apologize there, but it just sometimes you have to zip it, and sit on it and and not act, is because your body's got this urge to, I want to tell everybody. And you just can't. And so anyway, at some point, if whatever it is that I was informed on, and the thing is, it's public information. It's not something that is like super secret. All I had to do is look in the right place, and I would have seen this to begin with myself. So it's not like it's not in the public eye. It's known, just no one knows, I guess, for a better word. And so anyway, I'm being very cryptic, and I'm doing it on purpose. But don't you sometimes wish people wouldn't tell you some things? People have a tendency to confide in me more sometimes than they really should. And it's I guess they feel they can. And sometimes I think sometimes people feed me information, whether it be tech space or podcasting space or whatever, that is, they're expecting me to, come out with a double-barreled shotgun and blast away at something. And that doesn't necessarily how it always works. And what you can do, I think if that piece of email would have came in 10 years ago, I don't know if I would have reacted the same way that I have, or I would have refrained the way I have over the past 24 hours from the past. Now, I did talk to a friend of mine, and who was aware, and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I said, my tendency right now is just to sit on this, and the individual said, "Yeah, it's probably a good idea. It'll all come out in the wash anyway." I'm sorry to be dragging you guys along and making you wonder what the heck's he talking about. But please, if you're a fan of this show and a fan of what I do, please, if you have something that is, for a better word, could cause a conflict of interest, that type of thing, please don't send it to me. Please don't. The journalist in me wants to, or the correspondent in me wants to really let it rip. And then the other side of me, the business side of me, says, be quiet. Don't say nothing. Just wait. But it does explain a number of things. Some weird activity that has been going on. I'm like, why is this going on? And what's happening here? And now one of those types of situations I will share in due time. I do tell, because it ultimately it's going to come out, especially if I'm getting emails like that. So anyway, long story short, it's been kind of a weird 24 hours for me, but you're thinking, shut up. What are you even talking about? Also, I got an email, and I keep getting these emails that just set me off. And I got an email tonight from a company. And, Google's cracking down on link farms, reciprocal linking, and all kinds of stuff. So they got this email from it doesn't matter what the company's name is. Now be careful here. I'm not going to say who they are. It says, I'm the editorial assistant of something.com, a something site that does something, and we want to, it says, our blog is read by thousands of beeps, and we're a Google PageRank 5 site with some of the top keyword rankings in the industry. We're starting a new interview series with important publishers and industry influencers. We'd love an email interview with you to run on our blog. Then it goes on. It says, we'll send you a few interview questions by email, and we'll we'll turn your responses into a great article for our audience with a link back to .com. All we ask in return is a link from your site promoting the interview to your audience. Our blog is here, beep, beep, beep. If you'd like to verify this with a representative from such-and-such.com, you can reach out to such-and-such@.com. Please let me know if you're interested in doing an email interview with us, and we'll get moving on it right away. Thank you. So what it used to be before was, we'd like to write an article for your blog. Now it's like, we'll do an interview for you, and we're going to put the interview we've done of you over on our supposed Google PageRank 5 website, and all we want from you from a Google PageRank 6 or 7 website is used to link back to us, to the article. That's all we want. This is the biggest scam in the world. My response to this company was, hi, I'd love to do interviews, but we don't do interviews on basically on websites that are not related to our industry. But if you want to get access to our audience, why don't you spend some money and buy an advertising spot on my show? Here's my rates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you really want to get your word out on what you're doing, buy an ad. But no. These idiots think that they can buy me off with an interview, pumping my ego, right? To buy me off on an interview, so I will link to their interview on their website. This is not how good business is done. This is not how the web survives and moves forward, by having this kind of stuff that's happening with bloggers and podcasters. I keep saying that podcasters and bloggers keep selling their soul for, or primarily bloggers keep selling their soul for a cup of coffee, and I refuse to, for a better word, this is kind of a pay-to-play type thing here. Oh, they're going to do this a few questions. In other words, they're not going to get any information out of me that's going to be interesting. They want that link back to them, and I'm not going to do it. You want to pay to advertise on the show, talk about your product, and we'll sell on the merits of your product? Sure, we'll do that, but no. And spend some real money instead of trying to scam me into an interview. So anyway, I just saw it came in minutes before the show launched tonight. I thought I would share that with you. Hey, we're still, I've gotten a few folks have contacted me on potentially launching a show on Geek News Central, and actually on your own domain within our network here. And keep those coming. And if you have a show idea, or maybe even want to become the new host of the Chromecast show, let me know. We've really what we're moving forward with. And today I sent a long list of items I want in the new website. And what I want to basically pull you guys on is, as we get ready to do this complete rework, and this is going to be the biggest resurrection of Geek News Central in the history of the website. We're making it media friendly. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of ideas I have. And kind of what I'm stuck on now is I kind of know how I want the header. I kind of know how I want the top bit that you'll see when you land on the website. But love to hear you guys' thoughts. Send me a link to a website that you absolutely love. If you love a website's design and how it's laid out and how it flows and the font sizes and all that stuff, send me those links to geeknews@gmail.com, and I'll definitely take those into consideration and feed those over to the dev team that's going to be redoing the website here at Geek News Central. Each show is going to have their own, it's going to be a multi-user site. Each show is going to have their own domain. We're going to have some cool stuff, widgets going on the front page. It's going to highlight all that other content on the basically on the secondary sites, or not secondary sites, partner sites. So it's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited about it. Of course, now I want it to happen this week, and it's going to take a few weeks, maybe even as much as a month to get it ready. But the move will be big and fantastic when it happens. Okay, what else is going on? Podentertainment.com. I'll have a magazine article coming out on the 15th. We'll talk about that a little more as it gets closer. I just wrote an extensive, like a 1,200 word article for the first edition of that magazine. That'll be coming out. I want to thank all the insiders, those of you that have become insiders of the show. Thank you so much at geeknewscentral.com/insiders. But anyway, that's going to wrap me up. Hey, the new media show last week with Rob was great. I think we're going to have, there's a big podcasting event that's going to happen in August in Texas. And I think this weekend we're going to have one of the organizers for that on the new media show. So Rob hasn't emailed me, but I had gotten a question from someone. I said, okay. So I was kind of waiting for Rob's email, but look forward to having that show on Saturday. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch gears here. I think I'm missing something. Let me, hopefully, if I don't... yeah, so let me... I think I missed it, but no, I guess I covered everything. So I guess we'll switch gears here and we'll get right into the stack. Hey, congratulations! While Microsoft, of course, made a intriguing and dramatic announcement on Tuesday. Of course, Satya Nadella's appointment as CEO to replace Steve Ballmer was not a huge surprise. We kind of knew about that last week, but the news that Bill Gates has stepped down as chairman and take on his new role as tech advisor is probably the biggest move. And really, what's kind of exciting here, and at the same time, I'm getting the kind of the feeling as, oh boy, do we really want Gates still around? But I think Gates is going to be helping Satya to, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I haven't even heard it spoken in the news or anything, but Satya, or I'm not even going to try, but we are going to have an interesting transition here. And the letter that he sent out to the employees was intriguing. And the process, I read about the process in the Wall Street Journal. That was kind of interesting, and how the process they went through to pick the new CEO. I think the board over at Microsoft was really, for a better word, exhausted in the process. And I think they were all ready for a vacation because they'd been at it for a while. So I'm glad they were able to get that knocked out and get that decision made. It's going to allow, the focus to shift over at Microsoft and allow him to really to make some good moves. Now, with Gates' decision to distance himself from Microsoft's daily operations, it sounds pretty firm and permanent here. And so this is kind of a good move. Now, the guy that jumped into the chairman position is going to be another change at the company. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Now, Ballmer's going to be remaining as he's going to have a board position still, but I don't know what kind of, and if he's going to be active or exactly what's going on there, but congratulations on that. Now, one thing it was reported on over on one website is that the first day Microsoft, Bill had switched positions. He was in the office trying to set up a Windows 8 machine, and I guess he worked on it all day, and he was screaming and throwing stuff around, and he decided, forget it, I'm just sticking on Windows 7. So, yeah, if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. But anyway, that was some satire that was going around the web a little bit. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the Olympics. Of course, we've all probably seen all the dirty water and the bad living conditions, and it just made me laugh because I see these reporters were complaining about their hotel rooms. And it reminds me of a story that happened many, many years ago when I was still in the Navy. I was attached with VQ-1, Fleet Reconnaissance Squadron 1 and I was in Guam at the time. They those airplanes are now in Whidbey. Matter of fact, a number of years ago, they landed one of their airplanes on Hainan Island in China. But long story short, that was after my time. I wasn't around to see that stupidity go on. But anyway, we landed. Well, what was happening is we were staying in Bahrain, and this was many years ago. And one of our guys got in trouble, and it involved. It kind of caused a little bit of a, I guess, semi-quasi international incident, and we got banished. Our whole squadron got banished to this compound called Citra, and it was literally out by the dump in Bahrain. And we were in this, we were staying in a pretty good area, and then we got kicked out of that area, and it was just because one guy screwed up bad, but the whole crew got punished. For several years, the whole squadron was out this compound called Citra. So I'll never forget the day that we loaded up the bus and we took our stuff, all our, we had parachute bags that basically had all our clothes in, and no one had laptops then. It was before the laptop evolution. And we, bust us out to this compound. And the compound, before we moved into it, had been a Pakistani processing compound for folks that were coming there on visas. And so when we rolled in, I don't know how long that there hadn't been a Pakistani processing area, but when I walked into my room, I still have pictures somewhere. We were four to a room, and the mattress in the room, and I'm for those of you that are listening, I'm holding my fingers apart, and maybe it was one of those flat mattresses, maybe 2.5, 3 inches thick. It's kind of maybe what you would expect to see in on a prison rack. And it was just on the floor, no sheets, no pillow. And that was the first kind of, oh my God. And the second one went into the bathroom. Of course, there was no lid on the toilet. There was no shower curtain. Matter of fact, there was no shower head whatsoever. When you turn the shower on, it just come out in a straight stream. Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? We took the mattresses all outside. Of course, it's 100 degrees there, even in the middle of the night. And we put all the mattresses out in the sun and basically let them bake for 5 or 6 hours in the sun and beat the living snot out of them the best we can. And then someone made an emergency run and got trash bags and big, large trash bags. And we put we basically brought the mattresses back in the room, and we basically wrapped the mattresses in trash bags before we put sheets on them. There was no way I was going to sleep on a sheet in between this. And the floor wasn't much better, but at least I had this sterile plastic sheet in between the mattresses. So this lasted for 2 or 3 days before a truckload of mattresses, real mattresses, showed up. But I laugh about this news with these correspondents that are in these hotel rooms, and they're just a little bit lacking. Believe me, they're not suffering, not at all. And get over it. You're in another country. Suck it up. Now, at the same time, NBC News' Richard Engel went over there with a new computer, a new cell phone, a new tablet, and he said they had worried about the network over there being susceptible to hacking. So they put up some honeyspot emails, and basically what happens, within minutes, hackers were snooping around his laptop, his cell phone. He says it was very fast and very professional. Within 24 hours, both of Engel's computers and cell phones had been invaded, giving hackers the ability to tap and record phone calls, and basically owned. So basically, the State Department has warned that travelers should have no expectation of privacy, even in their hotel rooms. And as they found out, you basically, as soon as you try to communicate, you're done. They own you. So obviously, it's not a good idea to do any online banking. Probably not a good idea to check your email. Best thing to do is if you want to do anything, do a little texting. That's probably about it if you're going to the Olympic Games in Sochi. So besides the hotel rooms, you got the hacker threat there. So should not come as a surprise to any of us. But I thought I would just share just a little bit with you on my experience with time with. And that was probably one of the worst accommodations I ever had. On the other hand, probably the best accommodations I ever had. We were doing presidential support, and I stayed. The hotels were already booked for us. We were in Malaysia, Penang. We stayed at the Equatorial Hotel. Holy cow. 10 stars all the way. It was incredible. It really was. So, you go from the disgusting mattress on the floor to a 10-star, not in the same week, obviously, but, different points of time. So you really see it all. But anyway, kind of cool. Hey, Roku's going to open up home screen themes to third-party developers. So if you have a Roku programming itch, you can start working and basically build home screens through the Roku. I think this is kind of cool. It's going to make the ability for you to sell them. So they're going to work with developers on the platform to make money after consumers bought the device. And they're offering some billing services to developers some time ago, which is cool, which I really didn't know about as well. So we really got to get back into what's going on with Roku and update our app over there. But very, very cool stuff going on at Roku. Anytime someone dies, it's number one, it's a very traumatic thing for the family. And oftentimes, after you have maybe laid a loved one to rest, you start thinking about all the things. You have to take care of a room. You may have to take care of belongings. All the things that go wrong when someone dies. But now with everything, with us having such a strong online life, most people have Facebook accounts, they have email accounts, lots of stuff that they have online that maybe a parent, a spouse, a son or a daughter may not have access to because they don't have the password. So there's been a lot of pleading by families with Facebook and a variety of websites to say, please, please, please let me have access to my son or my daughter or my mother's or my grandmother's account. And they basically say, no, they're not going to give you access to it. So I want to remind all of you that listen to this show that no matter what stage you are in life, you should have something that you can provide to something that another family member knows where to go get access to your passwords and the key to get to them. And it may require you to reveal, like if you have a LastPass account, it may require you to reveal the sequence that you use for your password or something like that. And if you change a password, you need to basically update them. Maybe it means putting a password in an envelope that's only open after death. I've told you guys before, when I went off after 9/11, I had what was called a death doc. It was basically about a 15-page letter to my wife and my kids. It was in case something happened to me. And it was only to be opened in case I died. And, my mom held on to that thing for a number of years. And, and she finally said, can I tear this thing up? We got to the point where I wasn't going in harm's way, and I told her she could. So long story short here, we got to have the ability for you to be able to get into or your loved ones to be able to get into your account if you pass. Now, if it's an account you don't want them getting access to, then don't give them the password. But at the same time, we have to put pictures and different things on there. My kids know the sequence that I use for passwords and so forth, and they know the anchor points and the different ways that I've set up stuff. So, and they also to be in primarily to my main password protection account, and so we all have to do that to a certain extent, right? So don't let the story that happened about a family that lost their son that couldn't get access to his Facebook account. And finally, Facebook kind of made they didn't make exceptions, but they did make some of his public stuff available to the family. All right, switching gears here. The folks at Verizon are denying a report of Netflix throttling following net neutrality's death. Have U.S. internet users' worst fears been realized? A new report from a company called iScan online programmer David Raphael claims to confirm that Verizon, which we all know led the charge against net neutrality regulations, has been limiting bandwidth utilized by certain websites for its Fios internet subscribers, specifically Amazon AWS services. Now, the folks over at BGR.com, reached out to Verizon, and Verizon denies this. Well, it's not over yet. The folks at iScan are going to be doing a detailed report to get to the bottom of whether or not Verizon is throttling already. We'll let you know what they find, but I have a sneaky feeling that that's not the end of the story on this one. We'll keep you aware. Hey, a Utah bill would stop regional fiber networks from expanding. The bill is obviously seen as a gift to incumbent ISPs who are threatening to basically, they're not very happy about this expansion. So, with Kansas, there being a state considering location that would limit the growth of government-funded broadband networks. And this next attempt is a Utah House bill called the Interlocal Entity Service Prohibition, which would prevent a regional fiber consortium from building infrastructure outside the boundary of its members' cities and towns. Now, while it would affect any such, while it would affect any such group, the bill seems to be directed at Utopia, the Utah Telecommunications Open Infrastructure Agency, which is a consortium of 16 cities that operate a fiber to the premises broadband network. And this bill explicitly targets fiber only, not affecting cable or other types of networks. So again, here we have a group that's trying to bring fiber high speed to people's homes in Utah. And this basically Utah's trying to banish this Utopia group from expanding. So get on the phone if you live in Utah. And if you think this is wrong, as it obviously is, get on the phone and complain to your representative. There's a good article on GigaOM talking about there's something rotten in the state of online video streaming and the data is starting to emerge. Well, we've all been complaining about this, like right here in Hawaii. I got 100 down, but I only get 5 up. So why don't I get 100 down and 100 up? And because people are starting to push a lot of video and a lot of pictures and they're larger in size, they're complaining because it's taking an extreme long time to upload those videos and images. And I think we've all, on this side of the fence, at least all of you that listen to this show, probably understand this impact. But it appears people are starting to become, the general public that is starting to become more aware and starting to complain. Some good charts on the comparison between up and down that may interest some of you. I have the link in the show notes for you to check out. Patent trolls, watch out. Apple and Google's joined forces and make you think twice. So they're working together to see if they can quell some of the patent troll stuff going on. There was an incredible brief by Apple talking about how many basically lawsuits they have against them right this time. Something like 200 patent lawsuits, that could effectively, put a major dent in their income earnings because of the amount of money they have to pay for the lawyers, and not only basically maybe settling some of them, taking some of them to court. So they're basically going to Congress and going to the courts and saying, hey, this has got to come to a halt. Time will tell how that works out. Over on theguardian.com, a man has got a true bionic hand with sense. Yes, this is a bionic hand that has senses, and it senses touch. 9 years after the accident took his arm, he said he could feel texture, the shape of an object, thanks to electric signals from the artificial limb. Now, what they did is they did an operation on him, and they attached wires to certain nerves within his arm, and he was able to do this trial for 30 days. They weren't the medical profession would not allow the wires to stay in his arm more than 30 days. They felt they could have went to a couple of years without any damage, but after 30 days, they had to pull him out. But he was using a gripper, and there's a great video on this. So this is just the start, but it's, some point down the line, they're going to have, a device that they're going to be able to attach to folks, and they're going to have feel, touch. They're going to have a prosthetic device still, but they are going to get much more mobility and usability out of it. Because just think, when you're grabbing something, you can feel it between your, like I have a holder right now, a little thing. It holds it between my finger and fourth thumb, and I can, I feel that. But if you are on a prosthetic device, you can only see it. You can't see how tight you've gripped it or anything else. So this is very, very, very cool. We will see where this leads. But again, a good article over at The Guardian. There is an article over on cleantechnica.com talking about solar panel efficiency and how it's come a long way. It's a great infographic talking about in 2012, it costs about $1.30 a watt to install a solar panel. They figure by 2015 and beyond, it's going to be about 70 cents a watt. So the price continues to come down. So right now, they're saying that solar panels now convert about 15% of available energy to electricity. By 2015, lab-tested solar panels are going to convert 23.5, allowing the panels to get smaller, which in essence is going to allow the panels to be cheaper. And it's a good thing for all of us for all of you that live in areas where there's not a lot of sun. You're going to be able to buy cheaper, smaller panels, put more on your roof to get the density that you need. to make the energy if you don't have as much sunshine as like we do here in Hawaii. All right, over on CSO, blogs.csoonline.com, the IRQ network called QuakeNet, one of the oldest IRC networks on the web, has condemned the British GCHQ for their I can't speak the English language. Hypocrisy, after it was revealed that the agency launched a denial of service attack against their IRC servers using that basically were used by the supporters of Anonymous. So they've called for an investigation over that. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. But they're not happy that this happened. But time will tell if they make any headway on this. Do you guys use Uber Conference? The new Uber Conference integration lets you call into a Hangout, into a Google Hangout from a phone. So this is kind of cool. Sometimes you need to be part of a Hangout and all you have is a phone line. So video and phone conference service Uber Conference has released a new Hangout app. Lets anyone call into the Hangout from any phone. Of course, we know Hangouts have naturally been limited to just devices that could run the Hangout application or use a full web browser. But now this new tool allows anyone to dial in as if they were dialing a normal conference call. Simply open up the Uber Conference app in your outgoing Hangout and folks can call in. You can host up to 100 people on phone, up to 100 people on phones at a time, and record everything as you normally would. So that's kind of cool. So allows basically you can bring a conference call party to the party. Hey, over on news.discovery.com, the Mars rover Curiosity has been out and about, and it's about to become a dune buggy. They've crested a hill, and it's very clear that sand dunes are on the other side, and that's where they will be headed. Pretty cool picture. What NASA's trying to do is find for a better word, they're trying to find a much smoother route for Curiosity because the wheels have been getting beat up on the area that they've been driving around in. Apparently sharp rocks have not been nice to the wheels, so they're trying to basically keep some wear and tear down, so they're picking a much smoother route. So we'll see where this leads, but the Curiosity could be heading towards the sand dunes. Now, the question is, that comes with some risk. We all know how sand dunes are. We don't want the Curiosity to become a stuck dune buggy because there's no pulling that baby out. It's if it augers in, it's in and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be stuck for a while. All right, those of you that jailbreak your phones, the iOS 7 jailbreak has been updated to support the latest software version. So this is good news for all of you. So I'll have the link up in the show notes for you on that. If you're a Bitcoin user, though, and you're an Apple iPhone user, you may not be happy. Matter of fact, some folks protested by smashing their phones. They were shooting bullet holes in their phones, but Apple has removed the last remaining Bitcoin trading app from the App Store. We know that Apple's slowly been pulling Bitcoin trading apps from the App Store, and yesterday it removed a brand new app, and it claims to be the last remaining one that's on the App Store. So sad to say, if you're a Bitcoin user, you're not going to do a Bitcoin trading or payments with the iPhone. And the Bitcoin users definitely showed their disgust again by protesting, by smashing iPhones. Hey, the folks, if you live in New York City, Arrow has opened back up again. They're taking orders once again for service. It's not the same in all cities, though. They've got challenges in other places where they're out of capacity too. So according to Bloomberg, Arrow's waiting list are being notified. People on Arrow's waiting list are being notified that they have some new capacity. So that's good news. But at the same time, those in Chicago still have not seen Arrow launch after the date was pushed back in September. And according to Bloomberg, Atlanta recently reached capacity as well. Customers in that city will be notified when new subscriptions become available. How about Honolulu? Bring Arrow to Honolulu. Come on down. Would love to have that service here for sure. Cory Doctorow made a great write-up, and this is too deep to get into. We could spend the rest of the show on this write-up, but he did a piece on what happens with digital rights management in the real world. And we've talked about DRM a lot on this show, the good, the bad, the ugly, very few good things. So, if you're interested in what's going on with DRM and how it's really affecting things and what's really happening in the real world with it, this is probably a 20, 25-minute read, so you definitely want some extra time. Maybe when you first get up, get your cup of coffee. You can lazy go through this, but link will be up in the show notes. But he's got some great points. He goes over, talks about the DMCA, talks about security, talks about DRM in the era of mass surveillance. He talks about Snowden. He talks about going back to how it was in 1997 before DMCA or before DRM. So all this stuff is covered, and definitely you'll want to read up on it. At the same time, the folks at Tech Dirt have a follow-up article based upon Corey's article talking about how the copyright industry has made your computer less safe and secure. So that's those two. I don't want to dig too deep into them because I'll be honest with you, I'll probably put all of you to sleep if I did, but I'll have them linked up in the show notes for you to review. The folks over, sometimes you just got to wonder about people if they really understand how the internet works. U2's manager, Phil McGinnis, has basically said that Google should take down sites and keep them down. In other words, he's referring to sites that have copyrighted music basically on the website. So he's not misquoting. He says Google should take down sites and keep them down. Now, number one, Google can only remove someone from a search engine. Number two, Google can't take the site down. They can't keep the site down, and they can't prevent them coming up on another server on a different domain. They can keep them out of their search engine, but he seems to think that there's a quick fix for the piracy program, and it all revolves around Google. What needs to be done is simple. Take the sites down and keep them down. If the pirates can manage to replace their sites instantly with legions of bots, Google with their brilliant algorithm engineers can counter it. We need the technology giants like Google to do the things that labels, the publishers, the artists, the writers repeatedly ask them to do. They need to show some corporate and social responsibility. Take down the illegal sites, keep them down, and clear the way for the legal distribution like iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, the new Jivy Lovin' Beats service, which promises to be a very serious competitor. They can remove the search engine, but I'm sorry there, Mr. U2 manager, Paul McGinnis. Google can only remove them from search. Google, even if Google banned me from the search engine, which would be bad, they can't take my site down, okay? Imagine you're got a student visa, you come to the United States to study, and you're coming to Stanford, and during some of your visa process, you were wrongly placed on the no-fly list. And for 7 years, being wrongly placed on that no-fly list prevented you from coming to the United States. All because an FBI agent checked the wrong block. A judge has basically found that this lady from Malaysia was wrongly put on the no-fly list, and it took her 7 years, $300,000 litigating the case, and $3.8 million in donated attorney's fees to get her off the do-not-fly list. Now, this was all shrouded in secrecy. They did have a trial, and it was closed court hearings, and there was no public exhibits. And basically, it all boiled down to an agent having filled out the form for this perfectly legitimate student to be here in the United States just because he checked the wrong block. 7 years to fix that mistake. Hey, have you gotten an advertisement from Microsoft in the last couple of days? Microsoft has been sending decaying Apple advertisements to Apple users, except some of the folks they thought were Apple users were Android users. So maybe they should have sent them a picture of the Android mascot with dirty clothes on or something. I don't know, but definitely they had the targeting wrong. Something happened there in the detection algorithm to say this dude's using an Android device. We don't need to show him the ad. So kind of funny. Hey, Newegg has introduced a 3-day shipping program to compete with Amazon Prime. Costs $50 a year. So this is cool. Newegg is offering its own expedited shipping program in the same vein as Amazon Prime. The retailer, known best for a selection of electronics and computer components, calling this service Newegg Premier. And for $49.99 a year, offers unlimited free shipping as well as a few other benefits. Packages are guaranteed to arrive in 3 days or less with the service, and 2 and 1 day shipping options are discounted if you're a member. I wonder if that is including Hawaii. I'll have to go look at the fine print. I would almost bet it will not be. Only time will tell. Great article on CNET about the Olympic-sized job of running Olympics IT and the infrastructure. You know what's going to happen? The terrorist attack that's going to happen on Sochi is going to be in the form of hackers taking down the entire network. I would imagine that's going to be the challenge there for the games. Time will tell, but I'm going to have a link up in the show notes tonight, too. Everything you need to know about the opening ceremony. I think most of us will probably watch it DVR style, if you watch it at all. Switching gears here completely, another patent troll has scored a victory. He's going to get 3.2 cents per router from Cisco. But this is an interesting development here. Invatio IP Ventures has become arguably the most infamous sender of patent demand letters in recent memory. Besides 1,000 per worker scanner trolls we covered last year, Invatio bought old Broadcom patents that sent out more than 13,000 letters asking for individual chain hotels and coffee shops to pay between $2,300 and $5,000 in licensing fees. Well, anyway, after much negotiation and going through some litigation, Cisco struck a deal. Basically, Cisco will pay $2.7 million to prevent any Cisco customer from being targeted by these folks, effectively paying about 3.2 cents per wireless device. Actually, they've only sold 15 million, so for the remaining 85 that would be out there. So, but they spent 13 million on the litigation, and but they got 2.7 million in the settlement. Oh boy, that was a profitable one for sure. If you want to see a receipt of Google's first data center bill, I've got a link up in the show notes for you to check out. This is pretty cool. Talks about how they set things up. A little bit different pricing than what we even pay for. And I look at the pricing on these things. I'm like, wow, virtual data center. They got a 7x4 rack. They got that cost them $4,000, but they had $2,700 a month to rent the little room. They were able to cost about $4,000 to set it up. They got a 15 megabit base fast Ethernet with 100 megabits burstability for $18,000 set up or $3,750 a month. Their setup fee for the fast network was $3,500. That was probably some guy just plugging it in. They were able to get 2 meg base fast Ethernet with 100 meg burstability for $2,400 with an extended monthly fee of $2,400. The setup fee for that again was another $3,500. So grand total, they looks like $4,000, $6,000, $24,000, $27,500. 29, 31, about $31,000 to set up with reoccurring costs of about $10,000 a month. That was the first data center, and it looks like they had about 30 personal computers arranged on shelves, providing the world with more Google than it could handle. They had some machines that were crawling and some machines indexing, but mostly just personal PCs that what powered Google to begin with in September of 1998. Twitter stock has gotten hammered as investors are disappointed by user growth. Well, they got hammered 20%. So once again, stockholders punishing the tech companies just because. There's a pretty cool article over on Gizmodo talking about a football-sized device could replace your huge water heater. This is pretty cool. There's a Kickstarter that promises really to change everything on how hot water heaters work. I'll have a link up in the show notes for that if you want to check it out. If you're looking for a cool project to support, this is a good way to get going here. There is the folks over at Vungle. It's an in-app video ad startup, raised $17 million. So another company's in the space trying to make money with ads, and they got $17 million in cash. There's a good article over on thenextweb.com talking about Clout and how Clout is evolving into a content creation platform. And there basically is evolving from a service that told you how influential you were in terms of a numerical value to a service that now tells you why you're influential and how you can improve on that. So starting today, users will notice a redesigned service that the company claims is its first step towards its vision of helping people become known for what they love. So apparently they weren't getting enough traction on that, but now they're going to give you advice on how to become more influential over on Clout. There's a very, very cool picture. The first time, I don't think I've ever seen this, but there is an image of some of the nuclear test spots, basically where they blew nukes. It just shows all these craters, and probably a no man's land, of course, for from a radiation standpoint, but lots and lots of very, very cool pictures here from that testing time. And of course, we know that there's been a ban on underground and above ground nuclear testing for a long, long time. But of course, lots of radioactive fallout from that testing from the 1950s through the 90s, I think, too. Of course, most of the bombs are underground in the 90s. But this is a pretty cool series of pictures. I'll have the link up in the show notes for you as well. Hey, LinkedIn has beat their quarter four with revenue of $447.2 million, but they have concerns that they're not going to grow as fast. And once again, the stock market's probably going to hammer them tomorrow. We'll keep you advised on that. Again, I mentioned we're going to have a guide for you to the Sochi Olympics so that you can, if you want to watch instantly, you can. And some details behind it. Link will be up in the show notes on that. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Line, my wife uses the chat app Line. Well, I have no idea how they did it. But the site being a free app, it was revealed today that Line brought in 34.3 billion yen, or $338 million of revenue for its parent company throughout the entire year. This is crazy. Now, they had $120 million of revenue in the fourth quarter, all from a chat app. And that's amazing. Now, they've reached 340 million registered users worldwide, which is incredible. But apparently, they've basically sold some extra stuff, like little add-on stuff that's basically where people are spending money. And it's kind of amazing that they're able to do that type of volume. So congratulations to the Line team. And if you have anyone, I think it's huge in Japan. All the Japanese, my wife's Japanese friends, that's all they communicate with is via Line. Let's look at the time here. How are we doing? Okay, we're okay. This is very, very cool. Google announced today a video conferencing system that's going to run on Chrome. So Google's making a play for the video conferencing market, hoping to get Chrome OS to be more widely used with a special version of its Chrome Box desktop specifically designed for remote meetings. And it's going to be a computer, a camera, a speaker, and a remote, and $1,000. And it's going to be a $250 per year service charge, which gets you the Chrome Box system using the Core i7 processor. Actually, $1,000 and a $250 per year service. This is going to make a major, major impact. It's going to be a game changer for companies. The system can handle calls from up to 15 other participants and outsiders without the hardware that can dial in via Gmail account or use other video conferencing systems running the H.323/SIP protocol using a plugin from Video. Laptop streams can be added for viewing wirelessly, and telephone users can also dial in for audio conferencing. So this is going to be big. It really, really is. I could see where this could be real slick for some podcasting stuff. So we'll keep an eye on that. Definitely we'll be probably putting that in the buy column here when it becomes available. There's a great article over on Gizmodo talking about flight sims back in the 1950s. Some cool pictures. So if we've got any old pilots out there that flew in some of the old flight simulators, I'll have the link up in the show notes. You guys can check it out. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty archaic at the time. Also, there's a good article over in the Register. Do you want to remotely control a car? $20 in parts, some oily fingers, and you're in command. Spanish hackers have been showing off their latest car hacking system, a circuit board using untraceable off-the-shelf parts worth $20 that can give wireless access to the car's controls while it's on the road. This is scary. So the device, which will be shown off at next month's Black Hat Asia Hacking Conference, uses the control area network ports car manufacturers build into the engines for computer system checks. Once assembled, the smartphone-sized device can be plugged in under some vehicles or inside the bonnet of other models and give the hackers remote access to control systems. They basically said they've tested the tool to be able to apply emergency brakes while the car was in motion, affect the steering, turn off headlights, or set off the car alarm. And the device only currently works with Bluetooth because they don't want to really have this be used by someone outside the vehicle, but they feel they'll have a GSM version ready for the conference. This is kind of scary stuff here. Someone could control your car while you're rolling down the road with a mobile phone. Very, very crazy stuff. Hey, Coke is bringing soda making home with the Keurig partnership. You guys know those Keurigs, the company that has those little pods of coffee. We've refused to do that here. We think it's very wasteful to, make coffee this way, in the morning, because I've been spending, we don't even talk about my road time this week because the traffic here in Hawaii has been an utter nightmare. Longest time to get the kids to school and back was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I mean, nuts. I mean, just insane. But anyway, we know that SodaStream is becoming more popular, but Coke has announced that it will purchase a 10% stake with a cool $1.25 billion in Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, the parent company of Keurig. And with its single-serving coffee makers and K-Cups, we know that Keurig's become a household name in home-brewed hot beverages. But they're going to make it so you can put a Coke cartridge in, or maybe come up with a new device that will give the folks at Soda Machine a run for their money. Anyone got a soda machine? I thought about buying one here myself. There is a very, very funny anecdote on the situation with the hotels in Sochi. It appears that the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Kozak is downright peeved at visiting journalists from the West. He claims the journalists are deliberately trying to sabotage the Olympics as well as undermine Russia's international reputation by sending back false reports that depict Sochi's often-amused lack of preparation for the games. So far, they've only received 108 registered complaints. According to him, it's all a sham. Consider the hidden surveillance cameras. Consider what the hidden surveillance cameras have detected. So he says, we have surveillance video from the hotels that show people turn on the shower, direct the nozzle at the wall, and then leave the room for the whole day. We have surveillance video from the hotels that shows people turn on the showers, direct the nozzle at the wall, and then leave the room for the whole day. He was then pulled away by a handler before he'd be questioned further on surveillance in the hotel rooms. So, okay. So they got cameras in the bathrooms? That should make all the ladies and guys think twice before taking a shower. Of course, Russian officials have walked back on the surveillance, claiming they got it wrong. He says, A spokesman for Mr. Kozak said there's absolutely no surveillance in hotel rooms or bathrooms occupied by guests. He said there was surveillance on their premises during construction and cleaning of Sochi venues and hotels, and that is likely what Mr. Kozak was referencing. Okay, that's spinning it. He's almost spinning it like some of our government officials are. Kind of funny, yeah? Politics all works the same. Doesn't matter where you're at. The politicians stick their foot in their mouths all the time. Oh, boy. Do you think they got cameras in the rooms? Curiosity. Yes, we're going to talk about Curiosity one last time before we end the show here. Sees Earth from Mars for the first time. NASA's Curiosity rover on Mars has captured the first view of Earth from the surface of the red planet. A striking image that shows our home planet as a bright light in the Martian sky with the moon shining nearby. And you can see a video of Curiosity's Earth from Mars image. It's available. It's kind of a cool picture. You wouldn't know it was Earth based upon the size, because yes, we're just a dot out here. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the show tonight. Let me go ahead and look in what we've got for email. I think we had a lot that came in. And there's a few, so let me look at the last date of the last show. That was on the 3rd. Got an email from Andrew. He says, "Hey, Todd, wow, is all I could say when I read this article." And it was the article, Andrew, you missed it. We talked about this, about the magma that was basically tapped by the folks in, I believe, in Iceland. And yes, we've actually, if you read that article, Andrew, Hawaii also, we were the first to actually do a borehole that actually penetrated and actually got into a magma. They filled it with concrete, I think. I don't think they would keep the magma out if it pushed up, but they were able to keep their drill hole open and be able to use the heat rising to basically create steam. So, but it would be perfect for Hawaii. Yeah, geothermal is obviously a very big part of our industry here, especially on the big island in Hawaii. They do geothermal over there. But I don't think we do any geothermal here in Oahu. All right, that's going to wrap me up, folks. If you got comments on today's show, geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, if you want to tweet me, you can at Geek News, or on Facebook, you can just drop me a line. Want to have you follow me over there, of course. That would be great. And definitely ping me when you're following me. Let me know that you're a listener of the show so I can follow you back as well. That's really, really critical that you just let me know. Just at me and say, "Hey, Todd, I'm a fan." And or if you're a fan already and I'm not following you, please at me on Twitter and say, "Hey, dude, I've been following you for a year, but you're not following me back," and I'll make sure that I do that. So quid pro pro, make sure that we're all connected and that we can all message back and forth as needed. Again, geeknews@gmail.com. I want to thank all the insiders out there that have contributed to the show. Thanks very much for that. If you want to support the show for 6.7 cents a day, feel free to go over to geeknewscentral.com/insider. I think I did a pretty good job today not saying basically. I'm working on that. So I just have to keep reminding myself to watch my mannerisms. But I had fun destroying the English language, no less. And everyone, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you being part of the Ohana, being part of the family. Let me know what you think of how the show's been going lately. Love to hear your feedback again. Everyone, take care. We'll see you next time, okay? I'll be back here on Monday. And, of course, Saturday with a new media show with another tantalizing guest. Everyone, take care. We'll see you. Aloha. Those on YouTube, see you later.